So yeah, hello everybody. My name is Jesus. Nice to meet everybody. And yeah, today we're going to talk about a little bit about my background, and then I'll go into my experience this summer at my internship with JP Morgan as a data scientist. So yeah, let's get started. Uh, okay, wait, sorry. Okay, so where I'm from Antigua, California. As you can see on the map, it's approximately 2 hours and a half away from Chico. If you don't know Manteca, it's mainly known for its agricultural. Its biggest product, I think, is almond trees. And if you've ever drove into Southern California from Chico, you most likely 100% passed through Manteca. And yeah, I lived there and I was born there and lived there pretty much my entire life. So yeah. I also wanted to show a bit of my family and friends. And the first picture is some of my friends that I made here while my time here at Chico. I just want to thank them because honestly, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be where I am today. And the second picture is also some of my friends I've made here. But most importantly, I wanted to shout out the person in the hat in that picture to the left. If you guys do not know him, that's Pablo Suarez. He used to be the assistant coordinator here on campus at the Mesa department. And honestly, I'm super thankful to be able to call him my mentor because if it wasn't for him, I think I would have not had this internship this summer, which I'll explain in the application process later on why. That picture right there is my family. To the right is my little sister. She is in eighth grade. I'm constantly annoying her about becoming a computer science major when she grows up. We'll see if that happens. To the left of me is my mom. She's from Jalisco, Mexico, if you guys know. And my dad to the left of my mom is from Michoacan, Mexico. And yeah, overall, I'm just here completing my dream of going to college and majoring in STEM. And at the same time, making my parents' sacrifices worth it because they migrated to this country at a very young age. And I just want to be able to make them proud. So, yeah. So yeah, now into the good stuff. So here's my application timeline for when I applied and how I ended up getting it. So it started February 2nd, which is when I submitted the application, which is really, really late. I believe the deadline this year is February 10th. Okay, yeah. So I believe the deadline today this year is February 10th. And to connect back to what I mentioned earlier, the reason I applied so late is because honestly, I feel like this happens to a lot of students. I doubted myself. I told myself, why would they want me, being from Chico State, why would they want me? I don't think I'm qualified. The position was in Texas. I was like, how was I gonna get there? I don't know anybody in Texas. Uh, I've never been outside of California. Like, how was I going to be able to get there and do that? And honestly, me going and talk to Pablo about this opportunity helped me, He straight up told me, why are you worrying about these things if you don't even have the position yet? Like you don't know till you apply. And I think that's something everybody should take from here is you should apply. And you know what? If you get rejected, that interviewing experience, it doesn't hurt to have more. It's always good to improve, and you can always improve on something. And I hope everybody from here takes that and applies that. So yes, after that, February 6th, after I applied, I completed my hire review. If you guys do not know what a hire review is, it's a digital interviewing process to like narrow down the candidate list after you apply. You automatically get it. And what it is you go on this website and you have a minute to read a random question that you get asked, and it automatically starts recording after that minute, and you have approximately 5 minutes to answer that question, and it automatically gets submitted. A good way I used to study for this is they have practice questions you can use, and you can just constantly keep doing it until you think you're ready. And I believe what the question I got when I did this was tell us something that's not on your resume that you think we should know about you. And I think I answered it. I had attended this event the previous year before I applied, and I just shared my experience, what I learned, and how it has changed me and helped me improve as a better person. So yeah, just mainly behavioral questions, and as long as you have your behavioral questions down, you should be good to go. After I did my hire review, uh, March 17th, so about a month later, I heard back that I had proceeded to the next stage, and I had to schedule a super day interview. So a super day interview, if you guys do not know, is a day where the company takes like all day just to interview candidates. So a lot of people are getting interviewed with you, so you got to make sure to stand out. And my interview was two back-to-back 25-minute interviews, and I scheduled that for March 27th. You got to make sure to stand out because now that I was able to work there and find out who interviewed me, I actually found out that the people who interviewed me that day were vice presidents at the company. So you got to make sure that really that you're there, present, and you give it all you got because that's the only way you're gonna get the job. And yeah, for me, you guys have to remember that this was a sophomore level internship. So they weren't really asking me technical questions. It was a lot of behavioral, like different type of scenarios, like have you ever struggled with the team before? How do you work with the team? Give us some past examples, questions like that. So as long as you can do that, you'll be good. And then finally, after I applied or did the super day interview, April 7th, I received an offer, thankfully. I was super proud. I'm pretty sure I got called by the recruiter to tell me the news. And I think a week later, I actually received the offer, which you then have 30 days to sign to tell them whether you're gonna take it or not. Okay, I see there's a question in the chat. Oh, wait, okay, never mind. Yeah. So yeah, that was my application timeline. And then next,
Before we move on,
Yeah.
can I ask a question?
yeah.
You said make sure that you stand out. In what ways did you think about making yourself stand out? What did you do?
I think a good way to make sure you stand out is after you complete your interview. A lot of people, not that many people do this, but is send thank you notes to the people. So make sure you write down those names that you got interviewed by and get in contact with HR after your interview. Tell them thank you for the time and it was a great having an interview with you.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Thank you.
hmm should I ask anyone else has a question or?
You are all welcome to unmute yourselves and ask questions as we go along. So, yeah, you can keep going until someone asks more.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. Um, So yeah, the skill sets. I wanted to mention some of the skill sets that I had before or when I applied, and I only had these skill sets, C++, SQL. And I just want to mention here that as long as you're willing to learn and ambitious, they will help you get through, They're there, they want you to be able to succeed, You don't need to be fully knowledgeable on all these subjects that I used. And here I want you guys to see like some of the skills that they required. Like I did obviously have SQL, but I didn't know the insides outs of Excel, neither Python or like PowerPoint. It's crazy. Like you think PowerPoint, PowerPoint, you do not know PowerPoint. Corporate PowerPoint is totally different from educational PowerPoint. Like there's so many requirements, and I did not know anything about that. And it just goes to show that you don't need these skills and they will help you. As long as they see that ambitious in you, that you're willing and you want this position, they will help you learn. Some of the soft skills as well that were required is communication. You got to be able to communicate with them, whether you know it, don't lie. Problem solving, you got to be able to do some stuff on your own or just tackle the problem on your own first before you reach out for help. Time management, this is a big thing. Um, I didn't put this in the technical skills, but one of the technical skills is Outlook. There's so much more to Outlook other than just sending emails. There's like calendar, and your calendar in corporate is busy. You have back-to-back meetings. You have to schedule time for you to work on your projects. It's chaotic, and that's why like having good skills in Outlook helps you be organized, which is why I mentioned time management. Leadership as well. You got to know when to step up and your group, because a lot of the time I was working in groups, you got to know when to step up and help get progress going and stuff and asking questions. Work ethic, you got to really demonstrate that you want it to these people. They are really looking for this. teamwork as well. You know, you're working in a team. You got to make sure you're in teamwork and growth mindset. You always want to make sure that always asking questions. I'll mention this later, but a thing that our coordinator for this internship mentioned is at the beginning of the internship is to be a sponge. You want to be a sponge every day you're at work. There's always something, look forward to every day. There's always something to learn. Don't act like you know it all because in reality you don't. And these people have been working for this company like so many years that you can learn a lot of things that will help you. And transparency, obviously don't lie that you know a skill because they will find out right away if you know it or not. And yeah, and you can do it, you know, just like I did. Everybody here can do it.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for SQL, did you learn it from databases?
Yes, I
And
did
if so,
learn
do you need databases? Is it required?
it. I did know it from databases, but like I mentioned on this calendar,
Um,
they will help you. They do not expect anything from you. Like they will help you throughout the entire process.
Because that's pretty much that's
Yes, just
Sorry, we have a door open.
Are you gonna
Thank you.
but yeah, for this sophomore level internship, they do not expect you to be knowledgeable on any of these, so you can come back like from any background and you can succeed at this role. Yeah.
You asked about SQL and what
the
was it?
database? You learn it from databases.
Yeah, enter the database. Yeah. And yeah, if there's any other questions. Okay, we'll move on. So that my internship timeline. So the internship was 6 weeks, which for the sophomore level role. I'm pretty sure for the junior level role, it's 10 weeks. And for the 6 weeks, I started June 26th. And okay, so here I mentioned I flew out to Columbus. So how it works is that the first 3 weeks of this role, you're training at the main headquarters for JP Morgan, which is located in Columbus, Ohio. And during these 3 weeks, you're training with Outlook, how to use Outlook, how to do SQL, how to prepare you for your specific line of business. There's different types of interns. For example, like I did data science, there's software engineering roles, there's bank investment, financial advisor. All these roles are training with you at the same location, but you just get spread out individually to your certain coursework. So yes, I flew out on June 24th. The first day was June 26th. And for that whole entire first week, it was just training, covering like these sessions, for example, I was mentioning, and you just get to hear other speakers from within the company that are higher ups and just get to hear their experience and their story. Okay, I'll follow up. And then my internship timeline for July. So July 3rd, I started our sprint project. So what the sprint project is, it's unrelated to your specific line of business, so whatever you're trying to get in, but you're working with other MDIs, which are minority depository institutions, which are smaller banks within the country that are part of JP Morgan, and you're just helping them like problem solve. For example, our bank was Liberty Bank, which is located in like New Orleans area, and we were just looking at their company and seeing how we can help them grow and succeed and stuff like that. So for example, we looked at their website, we looked at the services they offered. We were mainly like consulting them and trying to see how we can help them. And you're working with other people. You're not just working with people who are in your role. You're working with all these other people, business majors, all stuff like that. And you're just working together. And right there, it's mainly just to see how you can work within a team with people you don't know and have different backgrounds from you. And at the same time that we were working on the sprint project, we're also training. As you see, I have sponges just to re-emphasize that you just got to be a sponge throughout this time. And then we were given a total of a week and a half to work on that. July 13, we presented our sprint project. This was a bit intimidating because you think you would just present to your coworkers, but you're presenting to actually these banks. We presented to the CEO of this minority depository institution, and it was a bit intimidating, you know, like these higher ups, you're just an intern, like what if you do something wrong, you know, or judge their company. But no, they're there to help you and take your feedback, you know, they're not gonna say anything bad. They're just gonna listen and just have questions. And then February 14th was my last day in Ohio, And it was that day, it was just mainly relaxing, saying bye to everybody, making sure you got those connections in. Something I forget to mention is make sure you have a LinkedIn. Having a LinkedIn during internships is super useful. You really get to make those connections, and that's how you get to know people. Yeah. And then that Saturday, I flew out to Dallas, Texas. As I mentioned before, I'd never been outside of California, so this is a complete shocker. And July 17th was my first day there. This was really intimidating as well because you just left everybody that you met in Ohio and you're meeting new people, you're just meeting people like that really quick. And you got to make sure to like get to know everybody, be open and connect. So yeah, mainly that day was just connecting with our coworkers there. So these last 3 weeks of the internship, it's actually in your line of business. So for example, I was data science, and this is where I was actually gonna apply those skills I learned during the training sessions, SQL, Python, and apply them to projects that we were assigned. So as you can see, I put shadowing. So what they had us doing a lot of the time was shadow our coworkers, full-time employees, and see what a day in the life was of a data scientist. It's actually really like crazy, like the amount of problems, like the specific problems that are found at banks. I think I can mention one of the banks that we were able to, or one of the projects we were able to shadow was the Chase offers auto loans, and they're currently struggling in repoing cars that people stop paying and stuff. And they're having trouble locating these cars because they don't have trackers on them, and therefore they're losing money. So as a data scientist, I was able to see like my coworkers, they analyze the data, work in these big groups, see how to tackle the problem, and like have all these like different types of solutions that can work, and they talk it out and see what's more effective, like depending on price, for like affordability and just like how long the process it will take. And yeah, that was really cool. Um, the next week after the second week of that was we started our mini project. This was assigned by our local team there in Dallas, Texas. Our mini project was to look at their auto loans and see why they are struggling to offer loans for people with medium to low credit scores, and like what's the root problem. And the problem there was that the competitors are offering better interest rates at those certain credit scores. And it sounds easy now, but to find that and actually show that in presentation is super complicated. You need to look at the data and back it up. For example, I really didn't know any data science techniques, and I learned them there, I learned regressions, like I didn't know any of this, and it just goes to show that they're willing to help you learn and help you do these things. So yeah, throughout that entire week, I worked on that mini project. We presented it, and we just presented it to our local team there. And also, when working as a data scientist, you're not just working with people at your local office, you're working with people across the country. So for example, on that project, we were working with other interns from Ohio, from New York, from California. So you got to be able to work through Zoom and also be able to do these skills of communicating, problem solving together digitally. And then finally, on the last week, I started our final project, and that was across all interns across all different locations. And that project was a lot more, it wasn't related to the bank. It was just looking into LA and looking into the housing crisis and why it's happening and how it can be mitigated. So this project was a lot more complicated because we were given a bunch of data sets. We weren't just given a specific data set to look at. And when having multiple data sets, it's really complicated to narrow down the specific data that will help prove your point. For example, we were given like IRS data sets from the last 30 years, and IRS data sets have a bunch of information that it's really easy to get lost into. And that's definitely, I think, the hardest part of being a data scientist is narrowing down the data that will actually work. And yeah, we were just given 3 days to work on that project, but it's a big team, so it's obviously doable. And then we presented the final project to our manager, our local team, and also presidents of the company, which was intimidating, but it's doable and you got it. And yeah, the last day as well, it was just like in Ohio, just saying bye to everybody, making sure you got those connections, have those contacts, have those names down in case for the future. And that Saturday I flew back home. And about 3 weeks later, I received a call from my recruiting manager, and she told me I have got a return offer to come back this summer or next summer, which I'm super thankful for. And it just shows that if you're really ambitious and about it, you will get it and you will succeed. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then last thing, applications for this year for the sophomore internship closed February 15th. I was gonna show a link, but currently the applications are down. And I messaged my recruiter and she said that they're just having technical difficulties, but they should open up sometime soon. So if anybody's interested, we could send that out.
Yes.
Yeah. And then yeah, Q&A.
All right, I'll give people a moment to ask a question before I jump in. You can put your questions in the chat, or you could just unmute yourself and ask away. Do you want to stop sharing?
Yeah.
And then we can see everybody.
Oh, wait, I stopped video. Okay. Stop share. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Lost the chat. Let me find it again. Okay.
Hey Jesus, this is Tasha.
And then nice to meet you, Tasha.
Nice to meet you. I was just asking about the link for the application for this year. What did you say about it? I mean, is it available or?
Are you interested in the sophomore level internship or the junior level?
Not the junior level.
The sophomore.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so applications are currently down, but I did message my recruiter and she said that they're just having technical difficulties right now, but they should be back up within tomorrow or sometime next week. But as soon as I hear back, I'll make sure we can email that to everybody in attendance today.
Yeah, if you could drop your email in the chat, I can make sure to send you an email with the links when we get it, when it's up.
Sure, I can do that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And we have a question in the chat from Matt that says, what projects did you have on your resume?
So some projects that I had on my resume were just, I think I only had one at the time, and it was some project I worked in my computer science classes. It was, I did not get asked, about it in my interview. So it just shows honestly for the sophomore level, they're not really expecting much from you. As long as they see that ambition with you again, like that you're willing to learn and you really want this, they will help you, you know. They don't require these like skills that, for example, I talked to some of the other interns there and they didn't have these skills as well. So I wasn't just the only one, you know. So yeah.
You have to get recommendations?
No, I did not have to get recommendations.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
How long did the application take for you to complete?
The application took about an hour. It's just like simple, like any other application stuff. Just like your name, your resume, and yeah, I think GPA, I think was asked. Yeah.
Okay.
What was the requirement for the GPA?
I think the requirement for the GPA was above a 3.0. Yeah. I also want to say, if you know any sophomore students who are interested in this, like definitely let them know. It's a great opportunity and it's honestly all worth it because the main priority of the sophomore internship is to get you to come back the following year. And if you do get to come back, you skip the whole interviewing process for the junior role. You get there.
Haley asked, do they pay for your flight and housing?
Yes, I'll need to mention that. So yeah, so that was one of the things that held me back from applying. I was like, how am I going to be able to afford this? I don't know anybody in Texas. How am I going to be able to live there? So they cover all of that, you know, it's a big company. I think a lot of, not even just big companies, I think a lot of companies do this. They'll cover your flights, they'll cover your housing, and on top of that, you still get an hourly wage. So definitely money's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, next question. What do you think the internship is open to all majors or are they targeting specific ones?
I think the internship is open to all majors so for example, this data science internship, as long as you showed some sort of passion about data science, for example, a shout out to the data science club, if you're in it, that would look really good on your resume. That even if you don't have a data science related major, if you're inside the club and you tell them about it, they'll definitely look into you.
And then my question is, how did you find this? And this is the only internship you applied for.
So how did I find it? I actually found it on Handshake. So definitely look on Handshake, guys, for internships. It's super useful. I think a lot of people don't like scrolling and trying to find through it. So I think that's what makes it a plus when you do find one, is not that many people apply through Handshake, I believe. And it was the only internship I applied for, so I got lucky in that sense. And yeah.
I have a question. I mean, when you talked about Handshake, I have applied like for several internships through Handshake. Uh, I haven't received a positive response from any. So, I mean, do you recommend any, like I'm just confused whether I'm doing something wrong while filling my applications, or do you have any suggestions regarding filling the applications or something like that?
Yeah, I definitely have a suggestion. So I forgot to mention this. So a lot of the time when you apply for these internships, they offer these info sessions, right? These info sessions on Zoom about the internship, and they give description about like a day to day on what you do. Attend these internships or attend these sessions for whatever internship you apply, because they take attendance at these sessions, and I'm pretty sure that attendance influences your application process, and I'm pretty sure it's like advances your application, because then they'll know you're actually interested in the role instead of just applying here and there, you know. So that's what I did. I applied. I attended the session right after I applied, and they took attendance, and I just put in my information, and I'm pretty sure that's what helped me out in the interviewing process. So, yeah.
How do you find out about the informational?
They just look up on their website, look up the role you look for, look up informational sessions, and they're definitely all companies usually have those.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I could send my resume too if you guys want, so you guys can reference it as well.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll send that along. We got another question in here from Haley. What is the interview process like?
The interview process was mainly, as I said, behavioral, but this is a sophomore role. I know for the junior role, they do get more technical. It's just as long as you just look up YouTube videos, or there's this, I think this method, I think it's called the step method. Is it? No, is it the step method? I think it's a smart method. I don't know, but and just look up methods online and just practice behavioral questions. It's honestly the only way you're gonna get better. Just practice, practice, practice.
Can you give an example of like a behavioral question that you were asked?
Behavioral question that was asked is almost every single company is going to ask you this. Why did you choose us? And a good way I do to answer this question is I always look to what the company is doing. For example, what they might be doing in diversity and inclusion, what they might be doing to investing, like investing in communities. And I always mention that in my answers, like, I'm like, agree with what you guys are doing here. I'm passionate about this. And that just shows the company that you did research on them. You know, you see what they're doing, and you're not just there for the role. You want to be part of the community and the company.
Our next question from Ali is, what tools do you need to know really well? Like Pythons, SQL, Excel.
For the sophomore role, like I mentioned, you do not need to know any of these. As long like they will help you. And I didn't know any Python beforehand. I knew SQL, but not as much like as was needed. And Excel, like I thought I knew Excel. I did not know Excel. There's so much more to Excel in the corporate world that a lot of people just don't know.
By that, what kind of features?
Like for example, I thought Excel was just like charts and stuff. You can make in Excel, you can do a lot of the things you do in SQL, for example, queries and stuff. I did not know all of that. You can do regressions in Excel. I did not know that. I thought to do regressions, you needed to do like R software or Python software. Yeah.
Okay, next question. At Chico State, the Career Center often will have mock interview sessions. These are good chances. Oh, she was sharing with everybody. These are great chances to practice your behavioral interview questions. Thank you for that tip. Right.
Yeah.
So one question is, were there any courses that you wish you would have taken prior to this internship, or are there courses now that you're more aware of that you do plan to attend because of the internship?
I think I didn't know about this until this semester. Chico State actually offers data science courses. I did not know that. And I think if I would have taken those classes, it definitely would have helped me and lessened the struggle I had this summer because I would have already known some of the stuff that they'd use. Yeah.
And then next question, what kind of work were you doing on Python?
So on Python, they worked on Jupyter Notebook, and they were doing a lot of narrowing data sets and making graphs and stuff. So you run the regressions on Python, and then if they do work out, you just do them, replicate them on Excel to make them look a bit nicer. And yeah, it was just running regressions, running data science methods and machine learning models. Yeah.
Robin, we're offering a Python course right here at Chico State. Maybe you can help refresh the memory, share that with people. So, so my next question is, what would you like to know before you traveled for the internship? Because you mentioned that you never left California before, and that was really an intimidating piece for you to even apply. What would you have liked to know prior to help it easier for you?
I think what would have liked to known prior was you're not the only one, you know, all these other people also are coming from different parts of the country and they don't know you, you know. If I would have known that, I think it would have really eased my anxiety. And yeah, honestly, just eased my anxiety and just helped me look forward. And as soon as I got there, everybody was super friendly. Like everybody's wanting to make friends there. Like it's the most friendliest people I've ever met, surprisingly.
Do you still are you in contact with any of them?
Yeah, I'm still in contact with some of the co-interns that I had in Texas and my roommates as well. Yeah.
All right, so for everyone, we are offering Math 131, the Intro to Python this spring. It's a 1-unit credit, no credit course, 5 weeks only. This is in addition to our existing Intro to R course, Math 130, which is also a 1-unit credit, no credit, 5 weeks. These are great courses to introduce you to these languages. Thank you for sharing that, Robin. All right, so has this internship set you on a new path academically or career-wise? And if so, what aspects have influenced that?
I think it definitely has in career-wise. I honestly didn't know about data science until the internship. And before that, I thought I was going to pursue a career in software engineering. And now that I've been able to experience data science, that's definitely my career path from now on in the future. It's something I really enjoy. And just that aspect of always being able to work with a team is super like interesting to me compared to a software engineer. Not a lot of the time you may be working alone, and I just love working with other people.
And then, are there any other questions? Before I ask another one, I'll give a pause, wait time, see if anyone else has one.
So as you mentioned, data science was not a class you took, you had in your course, right? So how difficult was it to work on it in your internship or?
So at first it was difficult, but like I mentioned, those first 3 weeks of the role are just training, training, training. So they're really trying to get that within like in you that like all these methods, you're training, you're having sessions with full-time employees about the things they use. For example, we had days specifically learning SQL, days learning specifically Python, and days learning specifically like data science models and stuff like that. So those 3 weeks are really, they're just grinding those training sessions with you. Yeah.
So question, for how many hours did you learn those methods or
Um,
per
so
day?
so yeah, the day was an 8-hour shift. So yeah, for the first 3 weeks, yeah, you just all day, that's what you're doing, back-to-back sessions. Yeah.
Did they provide lunch for you?
Yes, the first 2 weeks they did provide lunch. The last 2 weeks they did not.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then what was your favorite thing of the internship?
My favorite thing about the internship is definitely the connections I made. Uh, like it's crazy to think that now I know people on the East Coast and just like there to be able to call them my friends is honestly kind of crazy. I don't think I would like back like a couple years from now, I don't think I would ever see me in this position. And it just is it's honestly amazing like the connections you make while internships and it's enjoyable.
The presentations that you did at the end of your projects, are they, I'm thinking of like you present projects in classes. Are they similar in that sense or completely different or?
So how the presentations work is you go in this like little office space and it's like closed off and you share your screen on Zoom like this. You're presenting to a lot of different people throughout the company. So since they're located in different parts, they're going to be like on Zoom watching you, and it's just Zoom presentations with showing your charts of what you're trying to say and regressions backing up what your solution is and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question in here from Haley. What are some things you do when you're not working? Are there any cool places in Texas or Ohio?
In Ohio, I'm trying to think, what did I do in Ohio? I didn't really go out much, just obviously just for the groceries and stuff. Actually in Ohio, they did take us out. The company took us out golfing the last week, so that was pretty fun. They showed us how to golf. And in Texas, I'm trying to think, what else did we do? Honestly, in Texas, I didn't really find much to do. It's extremely hot, so like being outside is crazy. Like I would get out of the office and it's like 100-degree weather and it's like insanely hot. So it doesn't really give you motivation to want to go out and do stuff.
Did you
Yeah.
hang out with your like roommates?
Yeah, I definitely went out to eat at like restaurants and stuff with my roommates, but other than that, that was pretty much it.
Makes sense. You're only there for a short period. In your return internship, is that going to be longer or the same amount of time?
So yeah, the junior level internship is 10 weeks, so it's all summer. And yeah, I definitely plan on doing more things this summer. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. I think I have I think that was the questions I had. If there are any others.
Oh, also, I want to mention, when you do apply, I'm pretty sure you can use me as a referral. Like, I think the options like who recommended you, you could say like a previous intern. And then if you just write down my name right now so you don't forget, you could use me as a referral. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Right. And is the referral in the application?
Yeah, when you submit your application, I'm pretty sure it asks you how did you hear about it, and you could just say a previous intern or something. I'm pretty sure that's an option. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
So we do plan on when the link is up for the application, we will send it. I will send it to Essia as well so that everyone and San Bernardino gets it as well as the folks here in Chico. Again, I am taking notes of email from Tasha and anybody else. If you want to put in your email, I don't mind sending you that link and any of the information. And then do you mind sharing your LinkedIn information?
Yeah, I can send it in the chat right
Okay,
now.
that'll be great. That way you
Yeah.
all can connect, and if you have further questions, you can do that. All right. Taking yours, Matt. Awesome. Oh, yeah, that's a great one. The webinars, sharing it.
Um, uh, I heard that you were telling that you can share your resume as well. So,
Yeah, I think I'll send it to if you send your email in chat, I'll send it over or I'll get it over somehow. Yeah, yeah.
I have my email in the chat. It's Tasharakshana.
Okay.
Yes, we will send that to you. When I
Yeah.
get the link in there, I'll also, for the internship, I'll also include Jesus's LinkedIn information and his resume.
Yeah.
So you could get in contact and make networking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, and I look forward to hearing. Hopefully, maybe some of you all will apply to the internship, and I hope you have all. I know finals are coming up, so good luck on finals, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate the audience.
Thank you.
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stop recording.